Hello and welcome back to the show. Today we are reviewing Everton versus Brighton. I have a bone to pick with this team because, well, this was a game where we choked the unthinkable. For the first time in about 4 to 5 years, we actually had the opposition that we were playing get a red card, which was crazy to think. We had the lead at that time and yet decided to play as if we were the team that was on 10 men, with 10 men, holding on to a lead for dear life. These sort of games need to be wins. No two ways about it. In the first 20 minutes of the game, I would have taken any points because in the first 20 minutes of the game, we looked like we were getting absolutely trampled all across the park. Couldn't get any possession, couldn't really gain any territory, didn't really have any outlets, and Brighton were racking up corners, corner after corner. It was really intolerable, and I thought, well, we're going to ship off a couple today because we have not rocked up with the right mentality and the right application required in order to win. Now, we did a very, very good job of responding to that. Early on in the game, though, things looked really, really depressing almost. Far too open in the middle of the park. It's almost like we were committing to a press, but Brighton are very, very good at, navigating through presses. So the minute it went through, we had no James Garner present, no Garner Gay present, no Doucouré present, because they had all committed their resources to our attacking third, essentially. So that meant that it was very, very easy for Brighton to navigate their way through. And, they were able to get out wide, and Adingra was going to get a lot of possession as well because of that ease that they were playing with. And Godfrey was obviously sagging off. It's a part of the Sean Dyche mindset, obviously, to play more narrow and allow those crosses out wide or diagonal passes out wide. But then you look at, obviously, the final 20 minutes of the game and to see what we were doing and the attitude that we were playing with, it's crazy to think that we gave away a goal. And there were two stages where that goal was conceded in that sequence where the goal was scored, of course. Obviously, the first part was conceding the actual header. And Ben Godfrey, look, some will say it's his fault, but look, there are a couple of things that he can't control. He's 6 foot tall, and he was, as a part of the defensive line, standing in a pretty decent position. If that cross drops shorter, he's able to get onto it. But the thing was, he was always tracking backwards into Lewis Dunk. So what Amadou Onana needed to do, who was the guy behind Lewis Dunk, he needed to run with the same momentum at the ball that Lewis Dunk was running with. If you compare a player running backwards and a player running forwards, the player running forwards is going to have more momentum, be able to get up higher, that sort of thing. So Amadou Onana had the option to either stick by his man on the back post, or he needed to try impact the play where Ben Godfrey was situated. He did not impact the play, and that is going to be one thing in hindsight, which, he's obviously going to rue that error, because that's a very nuanced detail that he needed to, or he will hold himself accountable for, but it is something that in the moment he needed to recognize, and we've lost 2 points because of it. Well, that was one area. The other area is Jack Harrison at the edge of the box after we got the clearance from one of their corners. For some stupid reason, he decided to header it away instead of absolutely pelting the shit out of that football like there was no tomorrow. Because if you do that, then you allow your defense, or you buy your defense more time. And that is so, so critical. Look, it was very, very easy, that cross that went in, but I do think that moment where Jack Harrison did not clear his lines fully, I think that's where it was lost initially. And you could just see it. That was the sort of way we were playing in the final 20 minutes, not really clearing our lines, inviting all that pressure. And you could just see corner after corner, the pressure mounted. And there were a couple occasions where we absolutely had to scramble. Tarkowski, Godfrey, Branthwaite, all very, very key in the back line, in the back half of the game, getting some really vital touches in, which really deterred the play for Brighton. Sometimes they got it in the box, and just our sheer compactness was able to ensure that they did not get a shot on target, because I think if a shot did get on target, I think it was going either side of Pickford. Overall, though, I don't think we were too bad. DCL, a couple of chances that he absolutely needed to convert. There was one in the second half where a very crisp, low cross by Doucouré got to DCL and he simply wasn't able to get the flick on and redirect it the way of goal. There was that, and then obviously earlier in the game, there was another very clear-cut opportunity with a header, and there were quite a few of those opportunities when we played with pace. There was a beautiful bit of play earlier in the first half or in the middle portion, maybe closing in on half-time, where we were able to get it into the box, very similar to a moment last game as well, with DCL. So there's been plenty of opportunities, or sorry, should I say Doucouré? It was the Doucouré shot, which obviously was kept out by Tariq Lamptey, but I mean, far out. This game, I just look back on it, and the more I look back on it, the more I get frustrated. This is the second time this season that we have lost 2 points in a fixture to Brighton. Both times been in winning positions, both times conceded goals in probably some really in a fashion which makes you want to bleach your eyes out, really. The first time with an own goal, the second time when we had an extra man advantage, we really needed to run at them. Beto is a very, very physically imposing figure, and Brighton probably are committing more of their numbers higher up the pitch, and their substitutions really indicated that. Their aggressiveness in terms of trying to salvage something. Beto is very strong one-on-one, and there would have been a lot of space up the pitch. I do not know why Beto was not utilised more later in the game. And there was quite a few opportunities. Even Jack Harrison, he had a wide open shot and he's tried to, whip, get his foot around the ball. But, it's fair to say that the class really was lacking. And it's really crazy how our centre-backs are showing more class than our strikers, to be honest. Because that strike by Jarrad Branthwaite was so clean, so beautiful. I didn't think he had that in him. But that is the second time. He's going to be my player of the game. Because there were a couple occasions he came up clutch. It really is a raffle, in terms of who the player of the game is when I look at all four defenders, because they were all very, very key. Mikalenko won some crucial one-on-ones as well and got some interceptions. Same with Godfrey, who coped well after the first 20 minutes where Adingra was running over the top. But those two in the middle, Tarkowski and Branthwaite, some critical blocks. Branthwaite especially. There was one where his sliding tackle challenge in the box, I mean, it potentially could have been a shot on target if he did not get his leg to this, but it was so perfectly timed, and it was obviously after the goal, where we were more under siege, where he executed that. So, I mean, this guy's just a big-time player. If we even have the audacity to think about selling this guy, even though he would rake in severe funds, we're idiots. Simply put, we're idiots. You're not going to find these centre-backs anywhere else. And to see a centre-back score a goal the way he just did in that game, I mean, he's only 21, 22 years old. Sky's the limit. It's going to be crazy to see what he can blossom into, because sure as hell thought that he wasn't capable of that. Here he is, proving me wrong. Did like Amadou Onana, aside from the goal and the potential mare that he made in terms of the decision-making he should have made. Aside from all that, I think he had a pretty good game when he came on early in the second half. Obviously was able to be a part of the challenge, which resulted in us having that man advantage. But, I think it was very progressive. There were a couple times where I did shudder in my seat because he was piss-farting around with it in the defensive half. But you know what? I think he was playing some really good passes and being very, very proactive. Idrissa Gana Gueye was very, very slow on the ball, and that, that trickled over from the previous game, really. So, really happy with what I saw from Amma, and he needs to play the next game. That is a non-negotiable. And of course, you add into the fray, he's a set-piece sort of player that you would like to have as well. Adds a little bit of extra height, and, his direct matchup obviously, midfielders don't really come in his mold, as tall as he is. So, you know, he's going to cause real issues on that end as well. It's crazy to think that we keep scoring goals off of set pieces. I preempted the result for this game. I didn't stay up for it simply because I said pre-game to people that I know, we were going to concede a shit goal and we were also going to score off a set piece. And here we are, 90 minutes later, hours later, reflecting on this game, realizing that is exactly what happened. That is another draw. That is our 4th in the last 5. So we're not losing, but we are dropping a crap ton of points, plenty on offer as well. And obviously with the points deduction still hanging over our heads, not sure if that 10 points is going to be rescinded or the deduction is going to be rescinded. We have to keep playing like the 21 points is going to remain as is. So we need to keep winning. This is a game that got away from us. I thought we were going to get the victory. As I said, earlier in the game, you would have looked at it and said, well, I'm taking a 1-1 at full time. But being up 1-0, 11 plays to 10 in our favour, you would have backed us in to be on the front foot and really test them because they were obviously going to go for the game. They had nothing to lose. We acted as if that absolutely was not the case. And look, here we are, talking about another game that could have been. So fair to say that we did choke the unthinkable, but at least we didn't throw the entire game away because at times it felt like we were going to ship off a second. So, yeah. So if you did enjoy this one, make sure to drop a like, make sure to subscribe. If you are new, we'll be back for the Everton game. I don't know when it is, but I do believe we have a little bit more of an extended break. So we will be back for a review after the next game. Hope you enjoyed. Make sure to stay safe. We'll see you soon. Bye for now.